Okay, good evening, everybody. Hopefully you'll be able to see me and hear me, and you'll be able to see Mr. Wordsworth. We'll start in a minute. I'm just going to let some of the families join. Currently, we've got 80 odd families in the team, so we're just going to just give it a minute or two. Your camera will be automatically be turned off, and your mic. That's just because of the volume of families that we've got here. So we'll give it a minute, and then I'll introduce Mr. Wordsworth, and we'll go from there. A few more families joining. Okay, good evening, everybody. I think we'll get started. Thank you for coming along this evening. I'm Mr. Lamb. I'm the head teacher at the Castle School, and welcome to the Year 6 welcome evening. This is Mr. Wordsworth. Thank you. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. Lovely to meet you.
Just to begin with, we have got families joining us as we're going. So if you have started as I've started, then welcome to everybody. But I will carry on now, and certainly not the way I envisaged welcoming you all to the Castle School for the first time. So thank you for taking the time to come this evening. I'm sure you're sat around a laptop or some kind of device. I will just talk through some housekeeping. I think, Mr. Word, if you do have a question, maybe a technical issue, please do type in the chat, and Mr. Wordsworth will keep an eye on that and try and respond as I'm talking, and then when he is, I'll try and do the same. Just a few housekeeping. You will have your camera off. That's automatic, as well as your microphone. That's just because of the volume of families. We've got over 100 families and more joining us as I speak. So that's simply for that, and it just speeds things up, really. We will utilise the hands up function later on when we've got some opportunity for you to ask questions if you've got any. And we are recording the session because there are some primary schools where families can't join, unfortunately, or the children can't join, especially because they're on camp and various other things. So obviously we want to record it so they have access to that. We will have the chat, so feel free to put some questions in the chat as we go, and then we'll try and answer them. If we can't, then we'll put something out to you when we share the video later this week. Can I just ask also that you just keep questions to more general questions, really, perhaps about some of the more general things that you have. If you've got any specific questions about your child individually, then you are welcome to email the office email and contact, and we'll forward that to your head of house, your child's head of house, and potentially tutor if that's relevant. So please do keep it to a general questions will be fine, and then we'll be able to take all of those hopefully this evening. So you'll notice I put 2026 levers on there. That's not to scare you or to rush things through. However, it was just to highlight that this is when your child will leave the Castle School. And I begin with this really because it should be the start of 5 wonderful years, and our job is to work with you, parents and carers, to prepare your child for the rest of their life. And that's a hugely exciting opportunity for us, and a really hopefully rewarding one for your children. And it's been lovely to see some of you collecting uniform over the last few weeks for your child, and I'm sure they're really excited but also really nervous, and I'm sure they've been trying on their green blazer at home prior to starting in September. And you're all joining the Castle School family. I really emphasise that word. You may well be joining for the first time. This is your first experience at the Castle School, or you might know us really well. And I really emphasise the family side of it because we see ourselves as an extension of yours, really. And it is a hugely exciting time during joining secondary school, but it's also natural perhaps to feel nervous, especially when you haven't met us in person. This is certainly not how I would want to do it. It'd be much better to be in a hall full of you listening to us talk now and being able to wander the school. But I do want to reassure you really, and students as well, but also parents, that's completely normal, and it's a very personal thing. I've got two children at the school. They've been through transition. I've experienced it as a parent myself. And it varies in terms of how children settle into a secondary school, because there are so many things to take on: friendship groups, different environment, bigger school, for example, and some make that transition immediately. Others might take longer, it might take a term, and there's no time frame for that. And it's our job to support all of you as individual families to make sure, as best we can, to make sure that we do that as well as we can, really. And that's through effective communication. So I'll talk a little bit about this evening about the ethos of the school, just a few things that I want to highlight, and then Mr. Wordsworth will talk more of the nitty-gritty really, and some of the key things that might interest you, that might be useful, and might answer some of your questions as we go through. So as you know, the ethos of the school is every child achieves, belongs, or participates in learning, enrichment, and the community. And we feel the education should empower young people, giving them the knowledge to make sense of the world and to grow into citizens who make a difference and finding their place within that world. And we deliver that through what we think is really exceptional pastoral care and support. We have hugely high expectations around and standards, and we have an ambitious academic curriculum, which we feel is really rich and has breadth. The knowledge we feel gives children and families a choice in the future. So each child is able to be successful, enabling them to have the power to think for themselves. And I really emphasise power to think for themselves. What we want are individuals within the collective of the community to really develop their opinions through acquiring knowledge in all the subjects that we teach them. And then they're able to understand and find their place within that. And that shapes them as an individual in terms of what they need to know and understand in order to have a happy, successful and prosperous life. And we know exam results are essential. We make no apology for that. We feel that is a milestone, though. That is a milestone at the stage of their life where they're moving on into post-16 education, training or employment. And students should be inspired by excellent teaching, strong relationships with staff, and enrichment in taking part and participating in whatever pathway they choose as they move to the next stage of their life. And we really see that it's really important that we support young people to develop a love of a passion for something to then take on into the wider world when they leave here. And I've worked in numerous schools over 25 years of teaching, and there is an unconditional commitment here. It is truly astounding. Having gone away from the school and come back in January, there is an unconditional commitment to the education of young people in this school. I've never seen anything like it, and it's a real privilege to be the head teacher here. Excuse me, I'll just take a drink of water. And every adult in the school is dedicated to this ethos, really. So a little bit more information really about, I've just put a picture up of the prom here. Hopefully you can see that. And this is from a couple of years ago because we didn't have one in 2020, unfortunately. And this is the end. I emphasise the 2026 leavers because this is the end point, really. The prom is the end point, saying farewell to year 11s, and we'll be doing that for the 2021 leavers on Wednesday at Oak Manor, which is great that we've been able to really do that. But trust me, it flies by. I've got a daughter going into year 11, and I cannot believe how quickly it's gone. So I would savor every minute, enjoy every minute of them, of your child going through the school and taking on all the opportunities that we offer at the school. And I'm sure some of you who know the school well have experienced that and can testify how quickly it does go. So make the most of the fantastic opportunities would be my advice to any children or young people that are watching and listening to me now. And the reason why I mention that is that it's a 5-year journey and we might not always get it right, and we want you to tell us if we don't, and that is fine because that's how we get better. But also I know many families will thank us when we do get it right, and it's the start of a 5-year journey with you that you're about to embark on. And I often hear people say that school days should be the best days of your life. How sad would that be? How sad would that be if school was as good as it gets? Now, don't get me wrong. I think it'd be fantastic for you to have to have a great time at school. We want that. We want you to have lots of happy memories for all the enrichment and the engagement in extracurricular, but also the lessons that you have and the knowledge that you acquire over that time. But it's about having a brilliant life when you leave school. And it's for us to set you up. I live in the community and I see many students that I've taught, because if you don't know, I used to work here between 2011 and 2018 as an assistant and deputy head. And I see many ex-students and I love talking to them about what they're up to, what they're doing. And we always make a point of inviting ex-students to talk at the awards evening in the summer. And we had Mo Lone, who is an ex-student from a few years ago, who gave a really inspirational speech about what he's doing working with Google. So it's fantastic to see every ex-student in the community, and I really mean that. And it's about developing those positive relationships. And our aim is simple. We want you to achieve, we want children to achieve, we want them to feel they belong to the Castle School forever, not just for the 5 years they're here. And we want people to participate, because that's something that really engages young people and young adults as they move into adult life. So just one more slide from me. And as you know, we have the house system, and the house system is 50 years old, and it underpins everything we do as a school. It's based on the Queen's residences, and I think Buckingham always joke that theirs is a palace, actually, not a castle. But there's this fierce competition there in terms of which one's the best. And each house it has a colour, and then each house also has an initial. So the initial is according to their colour. So, for example, Balmoral in the middle there, green. Head of house is Mr. Hawkins. They are G. So your tutor group would be 7G, 7G1, depending on whether there's a double form entry for that year. And the ties reflect the colour of the house, which is really important to us, obviously. And each house obviously has a head of house where you can see the names of at the top of the castles, and obviously everybody has a tutor. And ideally, we would have that tutor with your child for 5 years, because they really get to know your child really well. But obviously, sometimes people move on, and it's really sad when that happens. But that's just a natural sort of ebb and flow of staffing in a school. I've been lucky enough to do that as a tutor in my teaching career, and it's phenomenal how well you get to know the families, but also the young people, and you see them growing into adults. Is an absolute privilege, really. And your head of house or your tutor would normally be the first port of contact if you needed to get in touch with the school about anything. And we're really family orientated, I feel, and that really reinforces that sense of belonging. And I'll talk about being competitive in a minute, actually, but I'll just mention that actually our primary care really through the house system is to deliver the pastoral care and the welfare, but also awarding house points for various competitions that go on through the school, but also behaviour sanctions, obviously enrichment, the tutor programme and PSHE. And we really value competition. We are a competitive school, there's no doubt about that. We have a house trophy that runs every year, and you'll be able to see the photos just at the bottom there from this year, where we have a load of inflatables and dodgems. I really enjoy the dodgems, so we had those this year, and we'll probably have some more things next year as well. I'm thinking the waltzers perhaps, and just to celebrate the successes of the house that wins the house trophy. And we announced that on at the end of sports day, where we get the whole school on the field. We have tug of war. We then have students tug of war for the winning house, and it's great fun. And it was lovely this year to actually see some things going back to normal, where we're able to have that fun with the children and really enjoy the spirit of the house competition. But it's not just sport. We have house dance, house languages, sports day, obviously, and the Pooley Trophy, which is where all of the house events congregate together in sport to have a winner, and it's a really historic trophy that we have. And then the winning house get an afternoon off school, where they're able to enjoy the inflatables and the dodgems and various other things that we they have access to, which is a joy to be able to bring back this year. So that's all from me. Mr. Wordsworth may add a few things, but that's all from me for now. And then if you've got any questions at the end, then we'll talk through. So I'm going to pass over to Mr. Wordsworth, who will now do his little bit. Thank you.
Hi everyone. It's a real pleasure to meet all of you, and I echo what Mr. Lamb said about not being. I'm really sorry that we weren't able to do that, and we did try really hard to consider kind of what was right for the community and for the children and the primaries. So we're really saddened that we weren't able to bring everybody in. But I think it's going to be really important that we're able to do that in September in a way that allows you to come in and feel comfortable and safe, and that's consistent for everybody. I know that we've got a couple of schools at the moment that are on their residentials, and it would have been a shame to not have you in this week anyway. So Lovely, really lovely to meet all of you virtually. I'm going to go through a few things that are maybe a bit more specific about our school, and this might trigger other questions. So please do put them into the chat if there are things that that kind of come up as we go through each slide. And I'm hoping that any sort of anxiety or worry that any of our families might have about joining the Castle School and things that you weren't able to experience in us through transition, we can go through now. So the first thing that I thought we'd talk about is just the simplicity of the school day. So we will return to our typical or normal school day in September. So these are our day timings. We expect students to be in school for 8:40, so that tutor time at 8:45 has a lovely prompt start. We do 2 1-hour lessons and then a 20-minute break, and 2 more 1-hour lessons and then a 50-minute lunch, and then lesson 5. And then I've put there that we have optional enrichment after school, and I'd like to link back really to what Mr. Lamb was saying about our school values and what we think is vital and important, and that participation and belonging it really is at the core of what we do. So in terms of participation, we expect everybody to participate and to join in with something that is external to those curriculum hours and those lessons that you do. We will be ensuring that we have what we call a freshers fair when you join in year 7. So during your first week, there will be a lunchtime where all of our colleagues who put activities and our enrichment offer on will be in the sports hall. So year 7 can go around and find out more about all those opportunities and decide what you would like to get involved with. The joy of our 50-minute lunch also means that there's loads on at lunchtime that you can get involved in too. So you'll be able to experience all of those things when you join us. So that's the school day. I thought for the majority of you, I really hope you'll have been able to see the Castle School at some point before coming here, but I'm also very conscious that some of you won't have been able to because we weren't able to open evening at the start of your year 6 like we traditionally would do. So there's kind of an aerial image of the school, and you can see the very front of school is right where that library sign is there on that image that's taken. So when you come to school on your very first day, you'll come to our very main entrance right at the front of school, and you will get used to the school building so quickly. But one of the most common questions that year 6s into year 7 have is, I'm really worried about getting lost, and I don't like the thought of that. And nobody would ever want to get lost, but also you need to be reassured that probably most year 7s will get lost at some point in that first week, and that's okay, and you will be well looked after, and nobody's going to be moaning at you or telling you off for being late to your lessons, because you will get used to our school and you'll know where you're going very quickly. So you'll see it's quite a wide school. We're very fortunate. We've got a lovely big site, and we've got lots of different buildings that I've labelled up there for you. And also you'll notice when you come to us in September that the very front of school is extended across a little bit more than it is in this photo. So we've got a brand new dining hall space now, which is there for you, which is a beautiful building, really lovely, and it's just extended our space in free time. So that makes things a lot more comfortable during break and lunch as well for our students. So then moving on, the whole point of being at school is around the curriculum. The curriculum is everything to us, and we want to ensure that children get the most broad and rich and exciting opportunities through the taught curriculum. So I thought I'd give you the most succinct summary that I can, just to get you excited about what you'll be learning about when you join us in September. So for year 7, art is one of your subjects that will be on your timetable, looking at natural forms and painting, different observational drawing techniques, and also some cultural textiles that will come in. I'll skip ahead a little bit so you can read on, so I don't need to read all of these points to you, but you can see the breakdown of subjects there. So you will study computing, and you'll start with some really important online safety work, ensuring that you're really understanding of all the risks that are out there online, and how we learn computing safely and ensure that we keep ourselves safe at all times. We teach performing arts in dance and drama. There's some lovely separate units and some joint units there that you'll be able to explore and understand and study. Design and technology is taught as one subject, so you'll look at plastics and electronics, and then a really great sustainable enterprise project in year 7. English, you'll start to do some creative writing, and then one of the key aspects of the curriculum in year 7 is the Graveyard book, which is a wonderful story, and it's something you could have a little look at if you wanted to. If you're looking for some summer reading, it wouldn't be a bad thing to read ahead if you wanted to, and I think that's nice for you to know what you'll be looking at, and looking at some different aspects of some Shakespeare plays, and looking at villains particularly within those. Within food, you'll be looking at all sorts of strands of food, the eat well stuff. There's a big investigation into dough and changing some components of the dough to see the quality of it at the end of it. Geography is one of our humanities subjects, and you can see the areas and the case studies that you'll look at, as well as history, and you can see the breadth of time that is studied. And then that year culminates with a study about Chepstow Castle and a visit for all of Year 7 students to go to Chepstow to go and see what you're learning about. So that's half of the Year 7 curriculum. And then as we move through just alphabetically, you can see the other half of our curriculum in Year 7. So we've got maths as one of our core subjects, and we start with some algebra, which is really important, and then we build through, and you can see the other topics that are there. We teach 4 modern foreign languages, which you may or may not be aware of already, and students, when they join in Year 7, will do a relatively short carousel just to find out a little bit more about each of those subjects. And then one of the core components of our curriculum is that we try and encourage our children to have choice and breadth within that choice. So children will have an opportunity to then opt for a language that they are most excited about learning within Year 7. Within music, there are some specific study pieces throughout the terms, and you can see that they vary hugely in terms of the types of music. I've listed out our sports there that you'll study in PE. So again, there's lovely breadth and range. You will study PSHE, so that's our personal, social and health curriculum. And within Year 7 particularly, we've got a lot there initially around relationships and loss and thinking about different relationships, as well as consent. And then we look at ambition, democracy and extremism, so a huge range again of things there. You will learn about different religions, and through religious education you will learn about the world of religions and all sorts of things that are linked to them. And then within science, you'll pick up on a lot of the key ideas in the curriculum that you will have studied at primary school and develop your learning further. So we'll be looking at more detail and more knowledge building around those key ideas that I've listed out there. We are really committed to practical and investigation work at the Castle School. So I'm within the science faculty, and we will be giving you loads of opportunities to explore and to challenge yourselves through practical and investigation work, and putting lots of maths themes through science as well. So that's our core curriculum, and that will be your Year 7, summed up really neatly in 2 slides. But actually, there's a huge amount of depth there, and it's really exciting. So hopefully you're as excited as I am about that. So break and lunch at the Castle School, just so that you're aware of what we do. Everyone in the school will have breaks and lunch at the same time. So you will be around older students and students of your age, but you'll also have an opportunity to see people that you might not see during your curriculum hours. So there's lovely opportunity there to keep those links with people you know really well from primary school and to check in with them. There will be loads of opportunities to take part in clubs and activities, as I've mentioned already, but it's absolutely fine, of course, just to be and to enjoy your lunch and enjoy time socially with people in the school as well. We have a couple of places where you can purchase food in school. So we've got our main hall and we have our new dining hall, and we also place what we call a deli cart at the far end of the main hall. So you've got some options there in terms of queuing for food. A lot of our students might eat more during their break time and then not eat as much during lunch because they're busy doing activities, and that's fine as well. If you want to eat across both of them, that's fine. And we will ensure that on your first day you're shown exactly where to go and what to do to get food. You can of course also bring in your packed lunch if you would like to do that instead, rather than purchase from our school catering facilities. The library will be open at break and lunch, so you can pop in here. That's where I'm based at the moment, and get a book out, sit and catch up with work. We've got computers you can access if you want to. So there's lots and lots of things you can do. But most importantly, it's a really good opportunity to take part and be and do something that you feel comfortable and happy with doing in your free time. So other things that I want to say to you that I hope will give you reassurance about starting at our school. We have a buddy system when you join. So there will be students who could be in current years 7 or 8 who will move up and through the school as you join, and we will place a buddy with every new Year 6 person. So you will have somebody within your house who's been at the school at least 1 year, possibly 2, and they will have an opportunity to talk to you and meet with you and to settle you in and to make sure you're okay, for you to ask them any questions that you might have. And it's lovely because we see buddies that form really strong friendships, and as they go through the school, they become really good friends, and that's lovely to see. So I hope you look forward to being part of the buddy system as well. And thank you very much, Year 6, for your buddy letters. I know you've written us a letter each, so just tell us a little bit about you so that we can try and match buddies as best we can. Uniform, you should hopefully have had lots of good guidance from us through a booklet and a letter about uniform. The uniform is purchased through our school directly for certain pieces, and then there are other pieces of the uniform that are not the Castle School branded, so you can get those from any suitable school supplier. The uniform is really clear. It's really important that it's worn with pride, and that's part of that belonging to the Castle School. So we expect everybody to look smart and wear the uniform with pride, particularly that green blazer with the Castle School logo. For the first time, we've had approval from the governors that have been directed us to ensure that all children in Year 7 are wearing the school tie. So that's been something that's not been in place the last few years, and that's been linked to gender. And what we've decided is that we wanted a gender neutral uniform policy. So all students in Year 7 will be wearing the school tie, and that will be the green tie, and that will have the stripe of your house within it. Mrs. Parker in finance, who manages all the uniform, knows which house your child is in, so she'll ensure that you get the correct tie. If you've got any worries or queries about uniform, then please go onto our website and double check all the information that's there. Mrs. Parker in finance is going to be in school on Friday the 3rd of September and Monday the 6th of September from 10 AM until 4 PM. So Friday the 3rd and Monday the 6th, 10 AM to 4 PM. So if you have any uniform that you order now and it's unable to be delivered in time for the end of this week, there are opportunities for you to be able to come in and collect it then before the students come into school. Year 6's first official day as Year 7 will be Tuesday the 7th of September. So that opportunity is there if you want to. And Mrs. Parker has also said if there are things that you have that aren't quite the right size and you need to exchange them, then you're welcome to do that on those days as well. So please feel free to do that. So that's uniform. If you've got any specific questions about uniform, feel free to put them into the chat and we'll talk about them as we go. We are introducing a new bit of software. It's called Class Charts for September. So this will be new to everybody in the school. So those of you who've got older siblings in our school already, this will be new. It's the most brilliant way for us to be able to communicate with our families. So we've decided it's a purchase worth making. And what we'll be doing is that we will be taking all of our registers through Class Charts. So that means that parents will be able to log in to a parent version of the app, and students will be able to log into a student version of the app and be able to look at student attendance each day. You will be able to look at the house points that are awarded, and you'll be able to see the reasons why they're awarded. If there are any behaviour points that are issued, you will be able to see those, and that might be linked to a sanction. And also all of our homework is going to be logged through Class Charts. So there will be nice clear deadlines and a calendar, and it's a really lovely platform to use, and some of you might be familiar with Class Charts already. So we won't send you any Class Charts details until your children join in September. And once they join, we'll be giving the students their own code so that they can download the app themselves and have it on their devices that they can use. And also parents are able to download the app. And then once your child officially joins our school, that will generate a code for you. So I'll ensure that you get a letter in the first couple of days with the information about how to get onto Class Charts and how you can access that information. At the moment, it's going to be set up as kind of a one-way communication system, really. So we'll get information out to parents and carers, and then we'll look at the capacity and the functionality of it in terms of whether we think it will be appropriate to bring a way that you can communicate back to us through the app, and there are some really lovely announcement features on there as well. So I hope, and I would encourage you to download the app when you can in September. I think it will just make the communication so much more timely and effective. So thank you for that. And like with anything we talk about tonight, if you've got any more questions, then do feel free to put them into the chat, but also drop your head of house an email. They're very happy to help and just to get to know you a little bit at this time. So moving through, I just thought I'd mention very briefly for you your first day at the Castle School. So on Tuesday the 7th of September, we will invite all of our new Year 7 students into school, and we will also be bringing back our Year 11 students. So for that first day, there'll only be Year 7 and Year 11 in school. And what we've done is we've designed a day for you that will look at a lot of the things we would have done during transition. So you'll get an opportunity to ask lots of questions and to settle in before we start your timetable properly. So what that will mean is You'll have an opportunity to have an assembly. These are the Year 7 students from Mr. Lamb and I when you join. So on that first morning, if you just come to main reception, and loads of my colleagues will be out and welcoming you, and then we'll bring you into the right place. So we'll all go to the main hall to start the day. You'll have an opportunity to then go and find your tutor base with your tutors and to get to know your tutor group and do some activities together. We'll ensure that we set up cashless catering for you, so you'll have an opportunity to put your fingerprint onto our devices that we can hold that record of, so that when you get food through the catering facility, you can just use your fingerprint. We've also got a coded system, and you can use a number if you would prefer rather than use your fingerprint. So we'll set all of those up on that first morning. Parents and carers, you are able to put money onto your child's catering account, so that's through something called ScoPay, and that's on the website as well. You can update that at any point, and you can put money on it, but you can only do that once we've set your child up with a fingerprint or a code. So for that first morning, if you'd like your children to have food at school, they will need to bring money in that they can then top up their account with when they do their fingerprinting, and then from that point forwards, if you would like to top up all their account through ScoPay, you're very welcome to. So we'll ensure that that's all set up. We will be having a whole year group photo on the first day, so we'll all go out onto the field and we'll have a photo of the 240 of you and tutors and heads of house and other colleagues of mine as well. And then we'll have a 30-minute break on that first day, just to make sure you've got time to get used to everything and the cues and so on. You'll have time to do a full tour of the school. You'll have time where you have a tutor group photo taken, and our hope is that you'll be able to bring that tutor group photo home with you after your first day in school, so that you know who everybody is, and that sense of belonging should start immediately. And then we'll have lunch, and then you will start your actual timetables at 2:20, which is lesson 5. So on that first day, you will have one lesson at the very end of the day, and then from the Wednesday, you'll have your normal timetable. Do not worry about bringing anything specialist in terms of equipment on your first day. So if you have PE in your timetable on that afternoon, you won't be expected to bring your PE kit. Don't worry about anything like that. If you just bring your basic school equipment, so that'll be a pencil case with a couple of pens, ruler, rubber pencil sharpener, pencils and so on, calculator, and any maths equipment if you've got some. And then we will speak to you about equipment and things as you settle into school and check you've got everything that you need. So that will be your first day, and it will be so important that you embrace that and look forward to that. And I appreciate there will be some of you who, if you'd been able to come in July, some of that anxiety might just have settled a little bit. And my request and my urge, I guess, is that you just really look forward to that. You know that it's going to feel a little bit different, but that's exciting, and that you'll be able to come here and be part of the Castle School, and you will feel so good at the end of your first day here, I'm certain. And we will ensure you're well looked after and challenged and supported with whatever you need. So that will be your first day. And that's pretty much it from me in terms of the key information that I wanted to talk to you about. I've just seen somebody's put on the chat about keeping MyEd. We are going to keep MyEd because MyEd is another way that we can communicate with our families, and that will be quite helpful for now. So we'll keep MyEd, and then we'll see, hopefully over time, that class charts might replace it. We'll see how we get on. So that's it from me in terms of just that final point. I'm sure Mr. Lamb would echo, and probably we'll just finish up just to say that it absolutely is a partnership, and the way that we work as families together as school. It really is the epitome of what we do here, and we talk to our Year 11s when they leave us about always being part of the Castle School family, and that really does mean something here. So I am thrilled to meet all of you virtually, and I look forward to meeting you in person in that first week in September. Yes, you will get a list of things for Pinkery, so I'm really excited that Pinkery will still be able to happen as normal this year. So you'll go away with, for one evening and kind of a day and a bit away at Pinkery, and we expect and we would love every single person per tutor group to go away, because it's so important to that sense of belonging again. Please do speak to tutors and heads of house if there are any worries about that, and we'll do what we can to support. You will get a letter with a kit list early September for Pinkery, so you'll know exactly what you need to bring and all of those specifics and arrangements. If you get to school too early, I don't think you can ever get to school too early. Our library opens nice and early, so you're able to come to the school library when you arrive, and you'll be well looked after here, or the main hall, as Mr. Lamb says.
We've had a few other chats as well. Apologies for my mild panic earlier when I thought everybody couldn't hear Mr. Wordsworth. It turned out it was only me, so that's rather amusing. But anyway, thank you for everybody that were letting me know. Unfortunately, I couldn't see the chat. We've got a couple of other questions here. How will we know what lesson to go to every day? So you'll get a timetable. Every student will have an individual timetable for them, and you'll spend time moving around the school, getting to know the building, the various names of buildings on your first day when the school is actually quieter because we only have year 11 in. And you will get to know your way around. I can remember both my daughters when they started worrying about getting lost, but eventually you find that. But it's perfectly normal to feel that. And there'll be lots of people directing you, helping you to go where you need to go. And also, I think just to reassure parents as well, we would also ensure that that children will come down to lunch a little bit earlier before the whole school starts lunch at whatever time that is, probably 15 to 20 minutes earlier. And there's no time frame for that. We don't stop. We don't stop that after a week. It might be a month. It depends how long the year groups settle, really, in terms of the routines that we have in place. But it does get busy, but we are mindful of that. So we give the year sevens an opportunity to have a little bit of access to various things before the rest of the school do, especially at lunchtime. Just noticed a question about mobile phones. So mobile phones are allowed in school, but they're only allowed during break and lunch. And when they are sat down. So that's the policy here, and you know, governors are happy with that. But actually we see it as actually, if there's an issue with a phone, it's actually the behaviour of the person using the phone, not the phone. So actually we don't ban them. We don't have any plans to currently, but that's always open for discussion with governors that we will review yearly. When will the children receive their timetables? I think I mentioned that. So they'll get that in September on their first day. That when they arrive. Are there any particular devices required for the app? So that's the class charts app, I'm assuming. I think it works on Android and iOS, so you'll be fine with that. It works on a phone, obviously a smartphone. There's also web access to that that you'll be able to access. Do girls need football boots? Essentially, yes, they need to be the ones that are outlined on the website, so they can. I answered a question in the chat about the AstroTurf. Due to our funding agreement with the Football Foundation, there needs to be very specific boots that you wear. But if you go to Soccer Sport, I think it's called, in Taunton, you'll be able to get the necessary boots there. If you're not sure, just phone the school and we'll be able to give you a description, or bring them in and we can check them out. It's fine. But the standard football boots are needed for the AstroTurf. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a minute to see if there's any other questions. No, if you do suddenly think of a question, please do email the school in, and we will get back to you over the next week. Obviously, we close on Friday, so if you do have any questions this week, please feel free to email in, and we'll happily get back to you either via email or a phone call with head of house or tutor. So no issue with that. Thank you then for. I will keep an eye on the chat as I'm talking now, just in case any more come through. So don't worry if you want to put a question in, that's fine. Thank you for. Oh yeah, so we can get a copy of the recording. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, I might edit the bit when I was panicking about Mr. Wordsworth not being heard, but apart from that, yeah, of course you can. That's absolutely fine. So I mean, finally for me, can we quiz on books? So that's a question to do with the accelerated reader that we do in year 7 and 8. So yes, you can quiz on the books. We're also introducing reading during tutor time as well, so that's where everybody will read the same book in half the year group. GOM, RBY will read a different book on rotation throughout the year altogether. So that's that. So I'll just finish up really. I think, you know, the transition from primary school, I did think about this when I was supporting my children really transitioning, that actually I do feel although they're moving into a different phase of their life and your life as they're moving into being teenagers. We have 1,200 teenagers in this school, which is always interesting and never ever dull. But one thing I do think, and as a parent myself, I think actually personally, I think children need parents more emotionally when they start secondary school. Perhaps it's a different need at primary school, but actually I do think it takes time for some to settle in. New friendships are developing. There's always that jostling for position in that respect. It's hugely exciting, and it's an opportunity for us to support and work in partnership with families to really shape and shape the young people that we want to produce as they leave in year 11. And I think that's about us working in partnership and children feeling they belong here. That's really important, and actually they really value the relationships that we have with them. And Mr. Wordsworth mentioned Pinkery. I actually took a group of year 10 girls away with Miss Shering, one of my assistant heads, and Mr. Beer at the weekend 2 weekends ago. It was a phenomenal weekend, and they're remembering all the things that happened in year 7. They're remembering when they fell in a big puddle on Exmoor and on Exmoor when they were in year 7, and it's a lovely thing to do. So, you know, that's about belonging to the school, and we really value that. And we want you to really support us with that, obviously, and go with us on the journey. So thank you for tuning in this evening. Really appreciate you taking the time to come in. We will send the link out. There's a question here. We'll send the link out tomorrow once we've edited my bit, and then we go from there. So have a wonderful summer. Be safe, and we really look forward to welcoming you back into the school in September when we'll have a year 7 information evening quite early on, where we'll be able to hopefully have you in schools. So thank you very much. Do take care, and we'll see you soon.